laugh over alleged conspiracy during supplementary polls, just as Governor Fintiri and Binani call for calm in Adamawa State. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, the one you know as BKO. I greet you, BKO.
Good afternoon, the citizen.
And we also have joining us Asukwa James, the proud Akwa Ibom boy. I greet you, Asukwa.
The citizen.
Okay, so now you see the team is ready. I hope you are. Okay then, our first story. You know, international and local flights were grounded earlier on Monday, that's earlier today, as workers of the Nigerian Aviation Handling Company, NACO, embarked on a 2-day strike. The strike action, we understand, taken for granted, also it seems, in our government, in our environment, I should say, Jide.
Yes, and at the end of the day, it is the patrons of their services that suffer. Today, as early as 4 a.m., aviation workers blocked the
approach.
Yes, to the airport, forcing people to trek in the desire to catch their flights. Of course, the usual flight disruptions and other ugly realities reared their heads. Before now, they just to make alternative plans, because in the event of disruption of services, you may not be able to catch your flight. You know, in fact, the pilots union was also involved in this strike.
Oh,
because
so
they were listed. Yes, they were listed among the unions observing the strike. So it's possible that some flights could not take off as scheduled. But what we want to see, especially in the major gateway to our country, is industrial harmony. Because when you do not have industrial harmony in a critical sector such as the aviation sector, those disruptions are capable of embarrassing the country and making patrons, whether they are foreigners or Nigerians, to lose faith in our capacity to do things and do things right. It makes no sense. So as workers have the right to agitate for better pay, better condition of service, but government has to do its best to ensure that we do not have these disruptions.
Yeah.
You can imagine somebody was meant to, because this is not the first time. We've seen air traffic controllers to take the decision to shut the airspace. And you know the implication of that. Those who have to fly out of the country, they won't be able to fly. Those who have engagements in Abuja or somewhere else, sometimes even life-changing engagements, they will miss the opportunity. So when government makes promises to workers, they must try their best to honor their obligation. Because we are hearing that that even pay raises and condition of service that were approved have not been implemented.
Yeah.
So this sort of thing is just not right. It doesn't. It's no one benefits from this kind of situation.
Asukwa, and this may not be the last of it.
Yeah.
Maybe we have not heard the last.
No, we've not, because some months back, a similar thing also happened where unions also, called for this same strike.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that miss important appointments, and this is the unions also. They even gave a long, at least 2 weeks, for the government to sit down with them, for them to be able to address these issues. And if you look at it, these issues are not something that that is cast in stone that they can't even address. Because union, the people in the union are human beings. It's for you to sit down with them, talk to them.
Negotiate.
Just make sure you negotiate and then let them get to a particular point whereby they will give you another opportunity for you to be able to, address their grievances. Because this morning, not everybody knew about the shutdown. Well, I heard it yesterday that there will be a 2-day shutdown. But not everybody. So that is why, and sometimes one thing about Lagosians and even Nigerians, and when you say there will be a shutdown, some people will just take it for granted. But so far, once it comes to the airport, these unions are always very serious. When they say they will shut down, they will do that. So it's left for the government to start calling and saying, please, please. But we shouldn't get to that point. We should get to a particular point whereby things can be done properly.
A critical sector like the aviation sector.
Because right now, not everybody wants to, apply the roads.
Yeah.
Not that it is not entirely safe, but nobody wants to go through that rigor of driving for hours. If you are going to Abuja, for instance, imagine if you have a 6:30 flight, and before 6:30, the road is already shut. No flight, nothing. And the pilots are part of this, meaning that they are also in tandem with whatever is happening.
Yeah. Gillian, there seems to have been no word from the authorities as we speak.
Yes, but it is in their best interest to negotiate with these workers, sit with them, and come to some form of agreement, because a warning strike is better than a total strike. Because when you fail to negotiate, you're asking for an indefinite strike. And nobody wants to see that happen in such a critical sector.
At a time
Talk
like
to
this.
them. This is a warning strike. We've had medical doctors, resident doctors go on strike. Those strikes were preceded by a warning strike. But sometimes our leaders just simply behave like, look, nothing will happen. And then we see that the indefinite strike is upon us. It's at that point that they will now be calling them to come and sit down. You can actually call them now, sit with them, and trash out these issues before it's metamorphosis into
something else.
If the government does the right thing, it may not even just give them those assurances.
Yeah.
The only problem is that our leaders do not have a good record of honoring obligations.
Yeah. And even negotiations.
Even when they set up committees and the committee says, look, these are our findings. Look at ASU now. The late Neme Briggs, who died recently, he came up with a report that government refused to implement and allowed the strike to go on and on.
Yeah.
So that's talking about ASU. Allow the strike to go on and on. Honor your own obligations. When you set up a committee and the committee says, okay, these are our findings, do this in the interest of industrial harmony, go ahead, do it. Don't push these guys to embark on an industrial action that does not that hurts the system. We are looking for money. The country is spending 96% of its receipts, of its revenue on debt servicing. Now, the airport, you know how much we lose today because they didn't work. We don't need these things.
Especially at this time.
Yes,
at this time.
These are perilous times.
Well, ours is just to mold opinion based on what's available to us. Let's go to our next story. The criminal harvest of deaths in Kaduna State continues, just as bandits attack on Runji village in Zangon Kataf, local government area of the state, has left no less than 33 people dead. Now, the mindless gunmen were said to have attacked the community at around 10 p.m. on Saturday when the victims were asleep. The council chairman, Francis Sani, said more than 40 houses were touched. The 33 victims, we can tell you, have been given a mass burial. How many more deaths would it take for us to call the bluff of the bandits, Asukwo?
It is really, really sad that we are still, I thought after the election that we won't be hearing killings and killings, but it happened in Benue and I was really shocked. And now you're talking about Kaduna, you know, and the thing is, these people operate. Like, I read the story that from my reporter was that they operated for hours and then there was no
challenge.
Yes, no security around to challenge them. And you can't tell me this Zango Kataf is not new to anybody. Because I remember even when I was small, I used to hear of this Zango Kataf, you know, crisis. 92, you know, so back then, so it's not something that you can't tell me that the military shouldn't be around that area.
General Lekwot brought
yes.
Zango Kataf
exactly to the limelight.
Yeah,
everybody now knew this particular local government.
Yeah.
So nobody should tell me that for now that we still don't have military presence, police presence, even police offices, police around that area.
Yeah.
For when things like this happen, that bandits will just come, kill people, and then they will go for free. It is really, really mindless, and I think the government has to do a lot of things.
Chidi, and it boggles the mind. So why Kaduna?
I see this as a culmination of
Okay.
the Zango Kataf issue has been around for some time. When one group kills the other, then it's to expect that there will be vengeance. This is the way it's been on. I mean, it's been on like this for some time. And in the last few weeks, in fact, immediately after the elections were done with, they've been killing people in this Zango Kataf. On March 12th, they killed 17 persons. No, that's in Atiap, chiefdom of Zango Kataf. On March 15th, they killed 10 persons.
This is even before the election, governorship election.
Yes, on March 15th, they killed 10 persons. On the 23rd of March, they attacked Kajuru, slaughtering many people, including a reverend, a reverend of Ekwa Church, and kidnapped the reverend's wife. So this particular attack in which more than 40 houses were killed and 33 persons were slaughtered is just one of the many attacks that we have had since the beginning of March. So I don't understand why this has gone on. Since we were done with the presidential election, we've been having this attack. And so it will even seem that like these ground-toothed elements have chosen to simply begin to kill our people once the elections are done with. Because if you move even from Kaduna, Boko Haram, that had been quiet for some time, went to the hometown of the governor of Yobe State, Bunegeri. They went to his hometown. On the outskirts of his hometown, they killed more than 11 people.
Okay.
Boko Haram that we had for some time, we didn't hear about them. On the outskirts of Bunegeri in Yobe State, they killed 11 people. You will not see it in a lot of the newspapers because I can tell you a lot of these killings go on even unreported.
And you're wondering what statement they are trying to make.
I don't, for Boko Haram, they've always felt that, look, these villagers, these people fail to support them. They call the military to come and attack them whenever they attack. But what do they expect the people to do? You attack me, today kill some of my people, you expect that I should be silent about your movement? So the people provide information about the movement of these terrorists, and the army, the Air Force, move in and serve them justice. That is what they hate. The people who were killed recently around Gajiram, the fishermen who were killed, they were killed not because they committed any offense, but that because there was an attack that the military launched in which the leader of the group was killed. They felt it was these civilians who gave information to the armed forces. So I just don't understand why these killings must go on. But the government, the incoming government, because it is clear now that though the president promised that he will end banditry before leaving office, you and I know that that is not possible. In fact, if he's not careful, on the day that he's leaving office, the bandits will still kill people to show that, look, you did not defeat us.
All right. Louis is listening and watching us from Ketu. He wants to react. Louis, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Yeah. Let's go.
I want to thank you to your station for what you are doing, because I know almost all the time you focus on this bandit and the rest of them. I wish everybody is doing the way you are doing. I think if not for anything, at least the noise would have been made. Thank you so much for what they are doing. But my surprise is, why is the governor not doing anything? Even if he's doing anything, but people are not seeing what he's doing. As the chief security of the state, you can't tell me human beings are being lost every now and then. These are human beings, for God's sake.
Yes.
We should show compassion for people's lives. You can't. Someone cannot just come to a state and kill people in another way. You still have the safety repeating, and you have a government in that state.
Thank you. Thank you, Louis. Thank you. Asukwa, sometimes you think government is helpless.
The thing is,
it's natural.
No, of course, we know. But at this point, what people even require is the efforts made by government in trying to solve the problem.
Okay.
At least if the governor, because just look at the series of killings, 10, 11, now 33, and all this is just within a month. If we've not heard
and this is talking about human beings.
Yes, we are talking about human beings. So the thing is, if we see the governor or the government coming out to make that decisive statement saying that, okay, because the thing is, if these guys come, they kill and they go. We've not heard any prosecution. Yeah. We've not heard that, oh, this person was arrested for killing certain number of people on so day. Let government get to that point whereby when people see that some people have been arrested for it and they are being prosecuted, it will give people a lot of confidence. And even because where we don't want to get to is when people start to get resorts to self-help. Because that is getting to that point. In Kaduna, and in so many other places, like Jide is saying, there are so many states in Nigeria whereby when once there's a killing here, the next thing is retaliation. So we don't want to get to that point whereby everybody will be retaliating because they want to get back their justice, because government has not been able to say something. We want government to always be proactive and be active, not just but active. In that when once something happens, there's a killing, the government should go all out, arrest those who did this, prosecute them, let people see them and know them.
At least we now know that intelligence, the Nigerians are willing to give intelligence,
of course,
which is key. Of course,
which is very, very vital, because if you don't, because I might see the person that actually killed a particular person, and I will decide to keep quiet. Because I don't know because since the government have not asked me, have not made any effort, I would not want somebody to come and kill me.
In all of this, the community policing or even state police is becoming more and more inevitable.
Yes.
A lot of the time, these guys strike where our people are most vulnerable. They hardly attack urban centers. They go to communities that are remote, where even when you raise an alarm, it will take a long while before security operatives can get to the location. I've been to a community in Kaduna where bandits attacked people. And I can tell you that for a journey that naturally should take 18 minutes, it took us 2 hours to get there. The roads were terrible. Now, if they were attacked by bandits, just giving an example, and they tried to raise an alarm, in any case, in some of those places, they don't even have network. Telephone services, zero. So you can't reach them. But when you have community policing cascaded, even right up to ward level, our people will have the protection that they need. In this case, it was said that vigilantes even tried to stand up to them, but they were overpowered. They don't have the weapons that these guys go around with. Bandits sometimes, and these terrorists, this militia coming to kill our people, they even have access to RPGs. Who is the vigilante person that has access to RPG? So, in terms of the weapons at their disposal, maybe it's just ding gun, or at best pump action. That's what these vigilantes have. Or Amotekun, because I've seen Amotekun with pump action and all that. That cannot stand the test against someone who has an AK-47, AK-49, or RPG. So we need to do something about this community policing thing, or state police. Maybe this 10th assembly that is to come will eventually give us state police, because what they've simply done, the community policing that has now been given to us through the new Police Act. You know, the old Police Act was given to us way back in 1941, but we now have a new Police Act, you know, which includes community policing that will ensure that the traditional ruler, like the paramount ruler in the local government, will be part of the security committee. And will have, just like the police commissioner will be part of the community security committee. So the paramount ruler will be part of that, and they will be deciding together how to best protect their communities. It's a good idea, but it will only work if we arm the vigilantes to the point that at least they can defend themselves and defend their communities, and we allow this structure to cascade right up to ward level. You have operatives, you arm them, you give them sufficient training. The police is still there. The police can help train these community policing operatives.
Incentivizing intelligence, you know, information.
Of course, that will come true. By the time you get the traditional rulers involved, the traditional ruler's duty is to ensure that even people coming into his community are profiled.
Yeah.
Nobody should just come to a community, come and sit down there, and nobody will ask questions. Look, gentlemen, would like to know you, where are you from, this and that. You need to know about everyone coming into your community. Don't just sit there because say traditional ruler, they are coming to give you bribes and all that. You need to know what's going on in your community, and where you fail to do that, you deserve to be punished, because the traditional ruler is an employee of the local government. The other day, the governor of Kogi decided to suspend the traditional ruler because bandits struck in his community and even killed his patriots. So these things need to stop. We need to do our best to protect our people. We are not protecting our people enough. Life is so cheap in our country. There's nowhere else that I know where life is so cheap at a time when we are not at war. I mean, it has to stop. We are not in Syria, for God's sake. Even in Syria, there are times when people don't get killed the way they are killing people in Nigeria, in Syria.
All right. We wish Kaduna State, as indeed trouble spots around the country, Godspeed. Now to our next story. You know, that our electoral process has become so chaotic and disorderly is a matter for deep regret, especially when the process has been running uninterruptedly for close to 24 years, since 1999. Now, supplementary elections that ordinarily should run without hiccups have unfortunately put almost everybody on the edge. In Adamawa State, the home of the PDP presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the supplementary polls raised the national adrenaline when collation of the results got suspended for a second time. Observers have called for an investigation of INEC staff over alleged conspiracy, and both Governor Ahmadu Fintiri and Senator Aishatu Binani, governorship contenders of the PDP and APC respectively, have sued for calm. Let's give you some updates about the election in Anambra State. I can't wait for it. Let's go there.
Announcements of the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate as winner by the state's resident electoral commissioner may have upset the seeming political setting in Adamawa State. Collation of the election results slated for 11 a.m. was halted after 10 of the 69 polling units' results were announced by the state returning officer. However, the resident electoral commissioner, Udo Hari, came to the collation center to announce the APC governorship candidate winner of the poll.
Based on the poll of the parties, the APC scored the highest vote.
No.
And by that, Aishatu Binani is hereby hereby stand as elected as governor of Adamawa State.
The PDP and APC supporters have reacted to the announcement. Both the PDP candidate, Governor Ahmadu Fintiri, and the APC counterpart, Aisha Binani, have called for calm.
When we are waiting for the resumption of the coalition, the REC this morning took up a tax he is not constitutionally empowered to do by making an illegal announcement of the outcome of the election without result.
My dear Adamawa State citizens and residents, I am overwhelmed and humbled by your show of love and confidence in electing me to serve as your governor as from May 29 this year and for the next 4 years.
My message to all the APC and the supporter of our governor candidate, Senator Aishatu Binani, is everyone should calm down. Everybody should calm down. And I want to assure every one of us, since our leaders are involved, our mandate will not be stolen.
As at the time of filing this report, the returning officer, Professor Mohammed Mele, and the two supervising national commissioners are yet to arrive at the collation center and could not be reached. INEC National Office has suspended the collation of results of the rerun election, while security has been beefed up as tension is mounting in the state. Meanwhile, the acting national chairman of the ruling People's Democratic Party described it as a coup against the people's mandate and thus called on relevant security agencies to arrest the REC before angry.
Are you ready to win big? Bills to pay. It's Max Millions.
Give me that money. Pay off bills.
We're giving away 1 million naira to our lucky listeners who win a share of the 1 million naira. Tune in to 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja from 6 a.m. Listen up for the winning song, be the 10th caller, beat the clock, and you could win big with Max Millions.
Money. Stop. He said stop. 25,000 naira. Come on.
Max Millions, only on Max FM.
And Chivita fruit juice.
Just been Lagos. There will not be Lagos without traffic.
Okay. Yep. GKB, we are discussing the trouble in Adamawa State. And you have an attitude, you know, and how do you react to what's playing out in Adamawa State?
Well, first, let us look at it this way. There's Yoruba proverb. The child that said the mother will not sleep, it will not sleep.
Enjoy sleeplessness.
I think somebody has stepped on the cable wire in Adamawa, and until the result is officially given to us, we just have to wait and see. Because yesterday when it was announced, and then the reaction came very quickly. It was the first time in a long time that INEC will intervene in state matters at that level. Because normally it would take a couple of hours to rise. But when it came immediately, I know something was afish. So based on that reality, I said, by the end of work today, we'll know exactly where we are going. But I agree with the governor and the challenger. There should be calm. Yeah. Because chaos will not solve this problem. Only coolers can do that for us.
Jide, and a wise man said, one poignant lesson of history is that man hardly learns from history. So here we are again.
One poignant reality.
Reality of history is that man hardly learns from history.
That's why they say we are insane.
So supplementary elections didn't just hold in Adamawa, even in Akwa Ibom State.
Yes.
Yeah, and some other states.
There were just less than 100,000 votes that we are talking about here.
Collectively?
Yes, in that state, I think about 37,000 or so votes. And the elections went peacefully in the 20 local governments. Results from 10 local governments had been
filed in,
collated and announced. They were waiting for 10 more. And time had been set since Saturday night when the remaining results will be collated, and the winners in the respective local governments will be announced. Suddenly, this man in the picture materialized on the scene and says, "Oh, I'm the wreck. Therefore, because I'm the wreck, this is the result. This is the." You cannot announce a result before the process has ended.
Yeah.
And that is my takeaway from even the statement issued by INEC. So that was a prompt response to the nonsense that was happening there.
Very prompt.
Very prompt. This is the sort of INEC that we want to see. Not an INEC that shilly-shallies on issues to the point that people can then decide in their heart that, oh, INEC must be biased. INEC has to be decisive. There's no need to waste time. Follow the law, take the appropriate decision. And yesterday we saw INEC coming out with that statement that, look, this guy, we have received report that the REC,
that's the Resident Electoral Commissioner.
Yes, the Resident Electoral Commissioner announced the winner of the election before the process was over.
Yeah.
The world is watching. I don't know why we have individuals who behave like this. I've always said that there are bad eggs in INEC. After the off-season elections of 2019, I've been saying that there are bad eggs in INEC who will not follow INEC's rule book. For example, the rule book of INEC says wherever voting is characterized by the polling stations, it was clear that violence reared its head. Some INEC staff still went ahead and returned winners from those polling units. That is flagrant disobedience INEC's rule book, INEC's guidelines, I'm not surprised that the man with the funny white beard that we are seeing now reminds me of a governor in the Northwest, came to aggregate powers that he did not possess. If this person were to be a president, he's going to turn himself to a Louis XVI.
I'm the state.
Who looked at people and said, "Let's start somewhere."
Let us somewhere. The state is
I'm
mine.
the state. I am the state. Louis XVI. He said, "I am the state. Let's start somewhere." He said, "By the powers conferred on me, you have no power conferred on you. The position of returning officer." When INEC decided that, okay, returning officers shall be the ones to handle governorship election and the rest. INEC knew what it was doing, though, because the REC is a permanent staff.
Okay.
Some stay in the same place for up to 3 years. During that time, or even more, during that time, they will have fraternized with politicians of all shades or complexions
and colors,
and they will have their favorites. Or how is it pronounced? Favorites. Because you people are the anchor, me are innocent. They will tell them, they will have fraternized and had friends among them. They will have benefited tremendously from a lot of those. So it was decided that, okay, the ROs, the returning officers, shall be people from elsewhere. In Lagos here, they brought the VC of Futa. They brought the woman, no, Futa, that's in Akure.
Akure,
Yes. They brought the VC of Futa. She has not worked here. The politicians probably didn't know her. Or if they knew her, at least they didn't know her sufficiently. As much as they will have known the REC that they've been seeing. They may even belong to the same club with the REC and all that. So this is what it is meant to achieve. And the REC has no power to order the RO to do this, to do that.
The procedures are clear.
They're clear. You can't know the announcement. Wait for the person who coordinated the process that delivered the first 10 local governments. Why would you usurp his powers? I mean, this is ridiculous. Look at the shame that they've subjected everybody to. Now, some of our friends are saying, hey, we told you, it was the same thing that happened on February 25. They know in their hearts that they are being dishonest. This sort of thing never happened in February 25. In fact, I can't recall that this ever happened. At any time that a REC came in and said, no,
was reckless.
No, this was a very reckless, white-bearded REC. And I'm happy, one of the reports that I had today is that INEC has said it should stay away from duty. So which means someone else will do his job for now. It's a very shameful thing.
Gani, even more shameful is the fact that politicians in our environment have become Machiavellian.
I think the ends justify the means, because the system have not punished those who do evil. Sufficiently enough. Because normally, my people will say that if the land continues to bless the wicked and not the honest, sooner or later you get tired of being honest. That's why I think politicians who even want to do the right thing no longer want to. Because they realize that those who do evil were rewarded by the system. And once you've done that on 2 or 3 electoral circles, if you can beat them, you join them. And that is the danger, because we survived the last 22 years, not because our elections were perfect, but people are willing to give the process a chance. I think we are moving to a very dangerous territory where people are going for broke, and they don't really care, because all they want is power, all they want is to get it, and they are so sure that at the end of the day, they will still keep the power they get in the wrong manner.
And yet we say one way of inventing tomorrow is to create it.
Nobody, the countries that people run to were created by people who believe in the system. They did not become that place overnight. The moment you stop obeying traffic laws, that's when it starts. Then you graduate to other things.
Yeah.
And before you know it, a lot of impunity will come up, and nobody will obey the law. And a country without laws is a country without punishments.
Yeah.
And Nigeria is moving to that area. Like Guinea said, if you don't quickly step punished.
I think Guinea did something like that.
Yeah.
There was a returning officer who connived with who rigged the election for political party. Guinea put him on trial.
Yeah.
And he was convicted.
He was convicted,
so what will gladden people's hearts is immediately INEC is through with his preliminary investigations and all that. They should hand him over to the police and then let the investigation continue. Those who are saying maybe he was given money and all that, let it be investigated and let him be put on trial.
I was going to ask specifically, do you think we are paying for not punishing bad behavior at all?
Even the topic that we discussed earlier, how many bandits have you seen put on trial? How many Boko Haram men? Yeah, apart from Kabiru Sokoto, the Christmas Day bomber, how many Boko Haram men have you seen put on trial? I mean, this is the truth.
No consequences.
All right. I hear we must go on a commercial break now. We'll do. Come back. Please stay with us. This is Journalist Hangout on the TVC.
I am in Basic 2. I am from Oba Community Primary School 2. The people from Ubek, representative from the Abia State Government, headmistress and teachers from Oba Community Primary School 2. My fellow pupils, ladies and gentlemen, good day. We welcome you to this unique occasion. We thank our President Muhammadu Buhari for the school feeding program. Some of us do not eat while coming to school, but this school feeding has helped us a lot. May God bless our presidents and governors in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you,
All right, welcome back. Jide, we were talking about punishing bad behavior. That will send a message, and who knows?
So the observers, for example, they said that even the secrecy of ballots is no longer guaranteed in Nigeria. Every voter should be able to use the cubicle that protects him even from anybody giraffing, But in some polling centers, no provision was made for such cubicles. So people can see you as you mark or you thumbprint the candidate of your choice.
Oh, yeah.
And then harassment and all that will result from that. So we should be able to deal with some of these little infractions here and there. INEC has a duty to ensure that those cubicles are in place so that the voter is called a secret ballot. Oh. But if I have to vote in the open, if I can't hide
my
choice from you, it's dangerous. So they are saying that a lot of 25 polling units that the voting cubicles were not installed. So nothing like secrecy is not guaranteed. Then they also want security agents involved in gross misconduct, because politicians do their best to compromise not just INEC staff,
the system,
not just INEC staff, but even security. Yeah. I've seen a security person, a policeman, helping a politician to share money to people voting. It's not an exaggeration. As they were voting, it was the policeman peeping at who they were voting for and sharing the money.
Paying.
Yes, just giving them the money like that. Because the politician, they use, if they say vote buying is illegal, But where a policeman helps the politician to buy votes, what do? That means we are not ready to put an end to vote buying.
Is that us, Gani?
Yeah, we politicians are part of us. Policemen are part of us.
Okay.
We must all agree that the system is not working. Because we keep making laws. Because I remember back, if you remember, back in the 83, 79 era, the cubicle was constructed solely for the election. I don't think, of course we are more now, we are about 93 million voters now. That may become impractical. But something like that needs to be done that you know, even if you are going to use schools, open spaces, you can still do cubicles that are collapsible, that you can bring back in 4 years for use.
Yeah, when you say 93 million voters, you say in India it would have been more chaotic?
Indians do fights, but they make sure the margin. Don't forget, it's a parliamentary system.
Yeah.
So all elections were local. So local policemen, of course, will get involved. Local politics will get involved. But we are talking now about our national elections. And we seem to have this problem more in off-season or postponed elections, where all eyes will be on that particular election. People do worse when it's national, because policemen will be spread thin. But now we have enough to face one person. Our young should come out to the...
All right, GKB, BKO, we have Adekunle reaching us from Ore. I greet you, Adekunle. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good evening.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Abajide.
Good evening.
And Mr. Gani, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Please, let me make my contribution. Mr. Babajide just said something now about compromising the INEC staff and the security agents. But we are not looking at even the party agents. At the polling booths, party agents are also compromised. You will see a party agent from a particular party, of which the party is paying them about 30,000 naira for the duty to be performed at that polling agent. And the other party, 1,000 naira to their own party agent. But getting there, the party that paid 30,000 naira will be the party that was giving, the agent that was giving 10,000 naira. You understand? His own 30,000 naira. And the two of them will just go the same way, and they will compromise the election.
Business.
So in some cases, where they are saying that election was rigged and all that.
All right, Kule, many thanks. Many thanks.
That can only be done in areas where a particular party
is dominant.
Yeah.
Where they are evenly matched.
Yeah. No.
But do you know, it provokes the question, where do we go from here?
We must look to the future with hope. We can't go back. Yesterday's history. We have to be focused. We have to tell ourselves that we will be better than we are today. Our future must be better. I believe that Beavers has been a game changer. No matter the reservations that people have about this election, I can tell you this election produced a lot of surprises that I have never seen. You know, I hardly take
some results.
I hardly take Reno or mockery seriously.
Oh yeah.
But the other day was saying that yes, I know members of my party don't want to hear this, but the election that produced Tinubu is better than previous election. That's a man whom we all know is not Tinubu's friend. But he saw some things that happened in the February 25 election, and we must tell ourselves that we must never go beyond that standard.
Yeah.
What blighted that election was the fact that INEC went against his own rule that it will transmit in real time. But INEC claims that there were hitches and all that they were trying to transmit and it wasn't working, especially for the presidential election. Many Nigerians still do not believe. They believe that they wanted to rig. And the fact that 20 governors did not deliver their states does not still convince people that that election was better than previous elections. All they say is the worst in our history.
And some governors...
How many elections have some people saying that same in their lives?
Some governors who wanted to go to the National Assembly...
They couldn't. Seven of them. Yeah. Seven that I know.
Yeah.
They couldn't. In the past, people were saying that National Assembly is the place where governors retire.
Retirement home.
How many governors got the ticket this time to the National Assembly? How many? Because this was an election where even people without godfathers, they found a way to win.
Oh, yeah.
In Enugu today, the House of Assembly is dominated, based on the election that we had, is dominated by Labour Party.
Yeah.
Yet the ruling party is PDP. PDP couldn't dominate the assembly. That's to tell you that things are changing.
An Okada rider won.
What they keep saying is the worst election. Why are people just like this? Worst how?
The upside to me, like Kide said, is basically that.
Worst how?
How
do you keep saying it's the worst?
Those people who somebody with 35 complaining about the worst election. Yeah. How many elections have you?
How many elections have you seen? You are a little boy. You are saying the worst election in Nigerian history. How much of Nigerian history do you know?
Compared to which one?
2007.
2007, 2003. 2003 was the year that the result of the election in Ogun State, the result that PDP, Obasanjo's PDP got was higher than the number of registered voters. I was at the Supreme Court when it was decided. I covered the election at the Supreme Court.
No, it was the election that Rivers State had 2 million voters and everybody voted. Everybody.
And it was a rainy day. It was a rainy day. I'm happy you remember this.
Everybody voted. Nobody was sick.
Those were days when people just sat down and wrote figures.
Oh, yeah.
You are now telling us that this one is the worst. How is it the worst?
All right, I hear we must go.
You are just dishonest.
Ours is just to, well, we are setting agenda. We are molding opinion based on what comes to us. Let me thank BKO for coming.
Thank you.
And
thank
Gani,
you for coming too.
Better luck next time.
No, it will not happen again. Lagos has shown me, and I was born here.
Don't be too sure it won't happen again. I spent 5 hours in traffic going home.
The next time I'm coming at 7 in the morning.
Commissioner for Information, his house is just here at Lausa. It took him about 3 hours to get to this place.
Yeah.
From his office in Alausa here. Which is even worse than your own.
All right, that's it on the show for the evening. If you missed any part of the show, join us at 11 later tonight. But again, don't forget, on Sunday, we expand the menu for you for 2 hours beginning from 1:30 to 3:30. Again, we tell you, we are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now. Take care.
Following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Do you struggle with having an active and healthy lifestyle due to your busy schedule? Do you find it difficult to make it to the gym? You want overall health, but don't know where and how to start? Medical experts agree that walking, running, and jogging are amongst the best ways to stay fit and enjoy a great active and healthy lifestyle. What if there was a convenient and affordable way to improve your health, improve your mood, and lose weight right in your own home? Introducing the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill. The compact foldable treadmill that makes being active and losing weight fast and easy. Just unfold it and walk, jog, or run while you watch your favorite programs on TV. And when you're done, just fold it and store it away. Now that's convenience. The secret is its advanced design that houses a 1 horsepower motor that is twice the size of most treadmills, packed into a nice compact unit, powering every step you take. You get the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill System complete with a rugged commercial-grade ultra-durable traction belt, large LCD multifunctional display that displays speed, time, distance, calories, and has 12 different exercise programs, as well as a magnetic safety key for added security.
The SportX treadmill has really helped me get back in shape after childbirth. I love it because it's compact and can fit anywhere in the house. And when I'm done, I fold and put it away. Easy peasy.
This is the best piece of equipment for people like me who want to stay active without leaving the home. I simply unfold it and use it while I watch my favorite program on TV.
Joining a gym can cost an absolute fortune, and you could be paying up to 600,000 naira in annual gym fees. Get the Sport X treadmill to save the cost and work out from the convenience of your home. You could pay 500,000 naira for a treadmill like this, but you can get the Sport X treadmill for not 400,000 naira, not even 300,000 naira. Order right now and get this for just 264,950 naira only. But wait, there's more. If you order now, you get the Sport X Digital Compact Treadmill delivered to you for free wherever you are in Nigeria. And it comes with a ShopX 30-day money-back guarantee. Hurry, limited stock available. So, call the number on your screen now or visit our website to place your order while stock lasts. The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.